I was invited to this 40th birthday party for last night. I knew that going to the party of someone that's like twice my age was going to be like the most awkward night of my life, but I'm not really one to ditch people on their birthdays. So I drove out to this party, which took like 50 minutes to get to, and I realized that it's actually in the middle of nowhere. Well, in the middle of nowhere, of nowhere, of nowhere. As I pulled up to the hall, I had a look around at all the people there, and there was just that voice in my head which was saying, turn around, just go home, go home. But alas, I accidentally made eye contact with someone. So I went into the party, said happy birthday, went and sat down with my friend, and for pretty much the whole night we're just sitting there really, really uncomfortable and just talking between ourselves. But the one thing that kept us going all night was the potential that we could have cake. And as brutal as the situation was, we knew that if we just held on, if we were strong, we would get a piece of cake. So as the night continued, we still sat there by ourselves, hiding from secondhand smoke and drunk idiots. Every time we would hear the word cake, we would stop our conversation and look and listen. We knew that cake was coming, and it was going to save the night. Then came a time in the night when they brought out the cake, and they sat it down in the hall. We rushed over and we looked at the chocolatey, delicious cake. We looked at each other, and there was a moment there where we realized we had made the right choice in coming here. But the host of the party decided to sing several more songs, and the cake just sat there. It got to a point where in our heads we're just fantasizing about going over and hacking off a slice without telling anyone. But we waited, and then came the time. They were slicing up the cake. We hovered around the cake and waited. There were children getting pieces of cake first, and we were very concerned that the slice we received would not be of an adequate size. But finally, as all the children dashed off with their slices of cake, we were the first ones there, and we were staring at the cake and the woman who was slicing it. She turned around and looked at me, and I looked back. She had what I wanted, and she knew it. She grabbed a slice of cake and handed it to me. I quickly grasped the cake just in case anyone would take it, and at this moment there was a look on my face, much like that of a father whose first child has just been born, which he's about to eat. Quickly we scurried out of the hall with our slices of cake, and we bit into the succulent cake, only to find... Succulent wasn't really a word. I would describe that cake as being more like dry and tasteless. I'm pretty sure it was a vegan cake or something. Being void of everything delicious in the world, milk, eggs, butter, meat. At this moment, my night was completely ruined. I looked at my friend and there was just fear in our eyes because we knew we had to finish this cake. Eating that last tiny piece was so painful. But we realized we had to. We had gotten this far. Then as we finished off our cake, I looked at my watch, and we decided 9:30 would be the time to leave. Usually it's a 10 o'clock rule, but this was life or death. At around 9:25, we walked back into the hall. We glanced over at the cake again. A look of disgust appeared on our faces as the cake slicer turned back to us with another slice of cake and offered it around. Everyone took some step back, and some bastard pointed at me. She held the cake up to my face, and I put my hands in my pockets and stated that I was full. She was offended by this. So then at 9:28, we realized we could not hold on anymore, and we had to say goodbye and just leave. Unfortunately, the host decided to sing a few songs. But then once she finished singing, we set our eyes on the target. We were going to go straight for her. She walked down, and both me and my friend ran towards her and said, "Hey, we're leaving now. Thanks for inviting us." At which point we realized she was so wasted we could have left like 2 hours ago and she wouldn't have noticed. So we jumped into the car and sped off home and decided that we would never speak of the event again. And I got myself a double quarter pounder to wash down the taste of that cake. And a large fries.